Yeah.
Oh, getting old.
Ah, dang.
Looks pretty good, don't it?
Yeah, it does. Looks damn good.
Welcome back to Puddins Fab Shop, where last week we left Old Roy suspended in the air, and this week we're picking up with Old Roy suspended in the air. We had her suspended in the air because I wanted to get going on our exhaust. Quite frankly, it exhausted me. Terrible. That was terrible. We got a really good jump on this thing though. In fact, last week we got this truck started for the very first time. So if you ain't seen that one, you may want to check her out. This old 6-liter LS roared to life, and we want to get her quieted down. In fact, we really want to get this thing on the road, and we're getting very close to having it in a drivable state. It is in a drivable state. You're allowed to drive in Oklahoma. Terrible. So I kind of got us a list here. We got some exhaust, some transcooler and lines, and hooking up a radiator, and some gauges, and some heater hoses, and some fuel fillers, and some drive shaft. I don't know how I'm gonna pull that one out behind him. A little this, a little that. She needs a little, and a little turns into a lottle. But we're gonna jump right back into this thing, and we're gonna continue with building our exhaust. So up here we've got our X-pipe built. Was not very happy with it. I don't hate it near as bad this week. Still not a huge fan, but we got her all ran to the point of being an X-pipe right back here. And it's pretty easy to remove and install, and we want to keep our exhaust like that. So continuing back from there, we're gonna add on some cheapo Amazon V-bands. That's my face. That's the exhaust. Let's get some of those tacked on right there. Dang it. Not off to a good start. Even though I had that push flush up against there for some reason, there's a big old gap on the other side. So let's try again. Great example of how today's gonna go, apparently. First one tacked up, cooled off, pulled that way. I can't close the gap. Try to break it off there, just re-tack it again. And now I can't get a pedal to concentrate. It's pulling it all over the place. Burning out our X-pipe. Welcome to TIG welding. Now, if you're experienced at it and you're used to it, you probably don't have the problems I have. However, most people are a beginner at some point, and most people are gonna have this problem, or these problems. Very few people, I think, is gonna just be an absolute natural. I don't know we'll ever stay on TIG welding enough that I'll ever really get good at it. And I could already tack both of those on with a MIG welder and pulled it down and full MIG welded it up. But for some self-induced pain and misery reason, every once in a while I like to do my TIG stuff. It's tacked up nice, but that gap ain't much better. And like many problems with doing this, just don't have enough hands. I need just a dab of filler, but I also need to push that together. I don't really have a good way to do that. Hey, but that right there worked. I just went over the top, pushed it with my knuckle to close the gap. Boop! So there we go. 5 minutes in and we finally got a few tack wheels on a V-band. 5 minutes? No, longer than that. Boom! Get our other V-band. Guys, if you've never seen these, they're pretty simple. I used them when I was in the Air Force on aircraft engines. We use this for a lot of the ducting and stuff. But they're just a simple flange that interlock together. You'll see that's got a little angle to it. And as you pull these clamps in, it just shoves that together, making a nice tight seal. And on these ones, we got a male right there that sticks out, and this side's a female. I know what you're thinking. Whoo, those ones definitely went smoother, didn't they, put in that second one? Heck no. Boy, I was melting down half this side before I got attacked. Now on the Amazon, I did find these little cheapo things you clamp them on there, and those are cut open where you can tack through there. But that flange diameter is about a 1/16 or so bigger than that X pipe is, so you can't really clamp this because it just kind of flops around on there. Either way, hey, we've got some tacks. Let's keep the party going. Well, they clear each other, so that's a good thing. Yo, ho, ho. Halt! Guys, don't run that lock nut down. Start wearing out the lock nut, wearing out the threads. My metric selection's not the greatest, but I dug around till I found us a couple nuts, and we know this is gonna be coming on and off. So that right there is a whole lot easier than running down that poor innocent lock nut 1,000 times. All right, well now we're ready to install the 2 rear mounted turbos. So let's have a look-see. Just flying, we ain't got no turbos. We got our cheapo Amazon mufflers. In fact, all this stuff's just cheap Amazon parts. These are advertised as stainless. They're also the cheapest ones you can buy. And as I already showed you, they're not that stainless. Now, let's have a look-see. Where are we at? We're up in there. Can we see it hanging down? A little bit. You can see a little bit of our fuel tank hanging. I'm talking about from the side if this thing was on the ground. Anything below the chassis, out below this body, your rocker is what you're gonna see. You'll see a little bit of chassis, or a little bit of frame, a little bit of transfer case. Right now, a little bit of exhaust, but I would like to jog that up because I don't want to continue to see exhaust this whole length. Do we have room to jog up? Yes. So should we jog up? Yes. Question is, how are we gonna jog up? Well, my Cheapo Depot Universal kit comes with 45s. So we could cut on that and trim on that and make it jog wherever we need it to jog. Or an easy way to do it, and for this truck I think would be fine, is this muffler has a built-in jog because the inlet's on one side and outlet's on the next. However, if we turn that vertical, that's a jog up right there. Now if we do that, will we see a little bit of muffler hanging down there until whoop, right there it heads north and disappears? Yeah, we will, but do I think it'll look bad? Probably not. Depends on how quick this stainless coated muffler rusts away. But for now, she'll look kind of nice. Now, which one's your inlet and which one's your exhaust? I guess that's up to whoever's installing it, because it don't say. And by the looks of it, it really don't matter. Just kind of wanting to see if it's going to jog the amount we need. And I think that's pretty good. It'll get it up above where the body is, so it'll hide from then on out. The good thing with the V-band is we can tack it to that other flange, and then because that rotates, then we can put it up here and rotate it where we need it to be. So as long as we think that'll work, in theory we should be able to tack that off of here, then hopefully the pair of them clear each other. Hopefully. See, I was able to keep a nice tighter fit up on these. When you got a butted flush, it's real easy to tack it together. There's a couple dabs of filler on there. I just don't trust my other tacks. And next we want to check this. We can even, technically we could set it down and kind of look and see how she's going to look. Because if for some reason we thought it was just going to look absolutely terrible, we could just at that point say, oh well, it's Dad's truck. He'll be okay. That's what we'll do. Now, we can change it, guys. I mean, trust me, I want this exhaust done as much as the next guy, but we got to make sure we're happy, or we can sleep at night with it. You also got to have quick hands if you're going to do this yourself. So we just picture there being some ground right there. The truck's on the ground, and of course we would be taller than that. You're not even going to be able to see underneath there. But if we start dipping down here and looking that way, the question is, does the muffler look bad? And the answer is no. I mean, I was gonna sit it down, but I can already tell. Even if you see a little muffler hanging, she looks good. So now my concern is, can we fit the other one? And if y'all see somebody lurking in the background, Poppy's here. That's my wife's grandpa up from West Texas, and he'll be in the background. You're not seeing a ghost or anything. Yeah, he'll chime in from time to time. All right, little mock-up, guys. And she's close, but she clears. I don't have them quite straight up and down, because the more we get them straight up and down, the more they want to rub. So we'll just lean that one that way here, lean this one that way here. Split the difference, she'll be happy. Now I thought about welding them together. We could easily add a little bracket, and we may end up doing that. It just seems like it'd be a pain to install it, especially the 2 V-bands. I think for removal and install, it's gonna be way easier to keep them separate. So that's the plan for now, subject due to change. V-bands mounted, mufflers mounted, offset installed. Killing a couple birds, 1 stone. Let's just slip that in. This is just a piece I have left over from last week. Just kind of get an idea of where we want to go. Honestly, I don't know if I'll have enough stainless, but I really don't see why we basically at this point can't just do a full shoot back. And I'd be okay with just kind of dumping it back here. Luckily, we'll have the hitch right there. Eventually, there'll be a bumper on this old gal, and maybe we'll just see a little bit of the tips, because we're straight shot now. Nailed it. You ought to start that one up, Poppy. Start that one up and go take her for a rip. All right, I got one big one, and then I got more cheapo kits. Welcome to the Puddins Fab Shop Cheapo Depot Exhaust Shop. Give me that duck. Give me that duck. Give me that duck. Give me that duck. He's gonna loop back around until he's seen you were in here. Hey, I'm gonna get that duck later. He said, bring it on. Boom, with that kit opened up, our one piece that was already cut a little bit from last week, and a brand new piece ends up being about the perfect length to get us right back here. This was some of our U-bends cut down from last week. We need to take a little bit more off. That's a little excessive. That's the ultimate turn down right there. Seems easy enough. Right up there. And something about like so. That's all the marking will do. Yeah, maybe not. We'll eagle eye her around. Woo. They connected like I did a good mark. Hey, why didn't you bring me your duck? Now, I've had some people notice my little stubby wire wheel. I've never replaced that, guys. I've noticed with it being short and stubby like that, it works pretty good for everything. Y'all see me cleaning dirty grease, caked this, caked that, rust. And I like the little stubbies because it makes a pretty good deburr tool. I don't hate that. Looks good to me. Take our other piece of scrap, and we'll just go for a height mark. And that way, our pieces just end up pretty stinking close to each other. I think that'll be perfect. She's just a back road bandit, baby. Whoop! Hold on. Don't pull it all apart. We need to cut one of them. All right, next we'll be ready to grab our 90 and start building the stacks. Sight. Tack her up. Make sure we're leaning how we want. Clearance between our mufflers. And then we just gotta eagle eye this straight up and down. Last thing to check. Tack it. We're gonna give her the 2 stand special right now, guys. Making sure we have about our 1/4 inch gap we had before right there, which we do. Get this one back here to offer some support. And while looking for a hanger spot, I think maybe we can go up there and drill a hole. Like maybe right in there. What if we flip around, offset, something like that. DeWalt chucks, gotta love them. Put your safety glasses on for that. You don't want hot metal flying towards your eyeballs. Now our cheapo hangers here, they got too much of a slit going on. A lot of these, you can't even get them off. These ones, we could flip that around if we needed to. So I'm gonna put her in the old quilting here, and we're gonna see if maybe we could smush that down some and Take some of that play out of there. That's a little better. Not the prettiest thing, but better than it flopping around everywhere. I've successfully welded everything to the hanger besides the exhaust. Our filter's hanging off there, our tungsten's welded to it. Just everything besides that exhaust pipe. That ain't an exhaust hanger, that's a welder holder. Good time to stop and sharpen that tungsten, guys. I cranked our heat up. I need more heat to be able to melt our hanger and hopefully not knock a hole right through our exhaust. Try again. We got a tack. Not the prettiest, but tack's tacked. Dang it. I was doing good till I wasn't. Shook my hand and slapped that tungsten right into our pool. Started to get one dab of filler going and found it. Shoo! Ugly as can be, but good golly, guys, I was struggling. Got two on the front, one on the back. She'll hold until she won't. Good enough so we can drop her down and weld her on the bench. Let's look at our rear hanger. Yeah, we're gonna have to have at least one at the back. Get big old metal chunks that go around. Bingo. All right, she's hung. Now, obviously, we need to cut off the rest of those hangers and drop that all down and pull it off and weld it up. But she's in place, and she don't look too shabby. Well, pump the brakes. I was about to catch this side up to this side, and we got a little problem. Whoop! That cross member dips down, so there's a nice curve for that to fit to. But what about that one? Well, look in. This is only held in with one rivet per side, aka probably not that important. Let's go look at another chassis. What are you doing, Sleeper McSleeperson? Huh? That is a cut down 4x4 chassis long bed. Right here we've got the two-wheel drive version, and that's the cross member we're seeing. And just as suspected, that is just for our spare tire, guys. That's why there's one single rivet that really don't offer much support. What it offers is a place to put some threaded hook things through, just to hang your spare tire. So let's just cut those rivets on out of there, drill them out, knock them out, push them out, way out. Dang it, let's get rid of them. Two rivets should be too bad. Famous last words, huh? Now let's go with a flap attack to the head of these. Hey Poppy, are you flame proof? No. Me neither. This thing right here is your gas tank. It holds gasoline. Don't say I never taught you nothing. Yeah, that's the filler neck that's plumb open. And I just looked over and seen that, and let's not play games with that, huh? Probably want to keep sparks out of there. Now, historically, I never have luck with air hammering rivets, but we're going to take this paddle thingy-mabobber and cut her down and make us a punch, and we're going to try it. Woo, let's see what happens. Nothing's going to happen. Dang, can't even squeeze the trigger. Quite literally nothing. What the heck, over? There she went. Oh, she worked. Boom. Got her. That old cross member out the way. We've got more room to play. Let me get this side all where we want it now. Whoop. Drill us another hole. We're looking all right. Let's drop our holders. Drop the thingy-mabobbers. Boom. Still got a gap. Woo, she's close, but a gap's a gap. Up here, our hanger, check her out. We're just gonna share that hole. One just kicks forward, one kicks back. As long as she can't wiggle enough and touch there, we'll be all right. I don't think it's gonna. Poppy's a little taller than me, so he helped me eagle eye it from back here, and we got them pretty close to the same height. Not that you'll see it once the bumper's on anyhow. She's looking pretty GUD, she's looking good. Now we just gotta unbolt it, drop it down, but not drop it to not tweak it, weld it up, hopefully not tweak it from welding it up. And we will finally have our 2-day exhaust complete. Got our hangers all pulled, little support back on the pipe. Lost our nut. Oh, found it. Be losing your nuts now. We're free. Pretty easy to drop down out of there. We like that.
It's kind of like cousin and uncle knock it out. And with present exchange and stuff there. Yeah. So, yeah, I know.
Woo! She is welded, guys, both sides. Quite a bit of time to do that. It's actually close to 3 o'clock, and we're going to have to get going to the volleyball before too long. By the end of this one over here, I hit that for almost an inch. Good, solid, consistent with some nice dabs. And then boom, right there, I managed to do it again. Got my confidence up, okay? I mean, look right here. That was right before there. Pretty gray. Not overly consistent, but then hop over here. Not that this one looks the greatest on there. I was confident, maybe a little too confident. And then I realized up there I need to slow down just a hair, actually. Then like this. I'm really happy with that, guys. That's the nicest, probably stainless weld we've done in the history of ever. Down in here, stuff got a little harder, okay? And it goes back to probably what we addressed some last video and why most of that over there is pretty ugly. And that's fit up. This slid into the muffler quite nice. Has good consistent fit up all the way around. We're able to weld it nice all the way around. This, pretty tight fit up all the way around. We're able to weld it nice. These, with those slip joints, you end up on some side with a little over a 1/16. And even though it slips in there, it's just hard to keep that there and jump up to there and not blow out some of that edge. Which is what I had happen exactly right there. And moving forward, maybe we don't use slip joints if something's overly, we want it to look really nice. We just cut it and make sure to butt it up really nice or something. But all that being said, from what we were welding last week to get some stuff like that, I'm happy. Sliced our hangers off, that way we don't have all that extra. She's welded up, guys. Except, do not forget, last week we tacked in our O2 bungs, and they're still just tacked in. And over here, where we started today, blowing out that edge, this all needs to be welded up as well. Quick test fit of the O2 sensors. Now I don't see nothing that's gonna keep her from fitting good. Pull it. Oh, strip it. There we go. There we go. Howdy doody. Good morning, guys. So we had a little volleyball action yesterday. And I did just have to do like one more weld on here that I couldn't quite get done. But you guys will be happy to know we are welded up. And I am happy to know that these O2 sensors will thread right in. Notice, I didn't say that until it threaded in. See, this one didn't bottom out. Let's see. She's all right. See, sometimes welding those up, guys, you're putting all that heat in there. You can bugger some threads, maybe warp it a little bit, but not ours. We are good to go. Someone's a little needy, and I got out here and started welding, so he didn't get his morning facial rub, pat down, back scratch, underbelly rub. He just wants to stare at you. Who wouldn't want to stare at a face like this? In the arms of an angel for 99 cents a day. Away. You too can support street wandering vicious pit bulls. Away. Oh, him's a good boy. Hey, petting you all day won't finish my project. You know it? Before we throw that exhaust up here, though, why don't we take care of some stuff that'll be easier to do without the exhaust installed? Like our wiring here. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine rubbing that exhaust hot manifold, exhaust hot manifold. I said a little bass backwards. We need to figure out some way to secure that somewhere where it don't end up right there. Make sure your battery's disconnected before you do any of this. Unless you like fireworks. And what if we put this on here first, then these on, and can we aim it that away? With that tightened down, facing that away will help. Sure, it'd be nice to clamp that. So I pulled our bell housing bolt right there. I do have a 1/4-20 to go with this metric bolt and a little bit of I don't give a damn. And you sprinkle all that together and we'll have a custom stud. Well, she was hotter than a $2 pistol. Zoomy machine was just coming in hot. Yep. Ow, somewhere for our clamp. Fancy. Take a little bit of that cloth split loom wrap. Give both of them a little wrap attack. Now that's all laid over, hugging the block as tight as it can go. Just clamped in place, shouldn't move, and it looks pretty good. Quality. It also beats burning up those wires and then trying to fix it after you have the truck on the road and exhaust is on and blah, blah, blah. We need to do something with our power supply right here. Now we may want these, we may be able to make something like that work with the trans cooler line actually. I don't know. I think we'll save that spot where we got somewhere to mount our trans cooler lines, and for this, some of y'all are gonna hate this, but we're gonna wrap this sucker right here. And honestly, I think we're gonna zip tie it right there where it can't move. It's full isolated, it ain't gonna rub anything else. Why not? Or we can drill 2 holes. I remembered I had these, and then that fully isolates that from that metal actually. And we can drill 2 holes for double the clamping power. Now it ain't going nowhere for certain. And it probably would have helped if I had the camera actually aiming at it. I got one of our trans cooler lines. I'm gonna start figuring that out next. Now we got a bolt right here, or threaded whatever, not a bolt, dang it. So we could clamp right in there. We could go up to there, we could clamp. We'd cross above that. And we can run up here. Now, I don't know if I want to, we could hook up to the radiator. I mean, it has a trans cooler built into it, so we could try to figure that out. I'm not sure what threads are in there. It should be like an inverted flare type thing, and I don't know about going from that to the AN. I should have this baby, which is already set up for the AN. Good size cooler. In fact, this came off the old 61 shaggin' wagon. Whenever we did the AC on it, this was kind of in the way. And it's funny, because some people will tell you like, oh, I don't like the radiator coolers. Some people will tell you they don't like external coolers. Some people tell you they like both, run it to the radiator, then through this. My thing is, every time I'm mounting one of these external coolers in front of condensers, and then in front of radiators, it's having some issues. Some of them are, I say that. I guess the Travelall's been okay, and I mounted all of it up there. We're gonna end up with a vintage air condenser in here. Right now I got the factory one, and that's what makes mounting this sucker hard, is even if it will fit, which it looks too thick, but even if it did fit, it's not guaranteed to fit once we go with the vintage air stuff. Well, I decided the smart thing to do would probably just use this new cooler in the radiator. And I know some people hate on these, but guys, several of these trucks got a couple 100,000 miles. Some of them, like this one, big block truck pulling camper, and that transmission lasts. So do I think the factory cooler will be good enough for Dad to put around the back roads? Yeah, probably so. So I was trying to look to see if I have anything, and I don't. So you got to remember, this is an inverted flare in here. It's kind of cone shaped. It's got the O-ring up in there to help stuff seal. So it requires a tube nut. Not to be confused with something like this, which is looks like 1/4 inch NPT, National Pipe Thread. It's got a taper. This is one where if your other side was tapped for this, you just use a little thread tape. But this requires a tube nut, so we're looking at just regular old threads. And these ones are 1/2-20. Well, I don't have a 1/2-20 inverted flare to 6AN adapter fitting, but I just found them on the Amazon and can have them here tomorrow for 12 doll hairs. But for now, we want to just get everything mocked up. So we have the option, because this one actually does thread in here. Now, I wouldn't rely on that to seal up good. If I'm being honest, a little thread taping, it probably would. And then I noticed this had big threads. I was like, okay, big thread, Fred. And I got to looking at this, and I noticed this had big threads. So I pulled this off of that. And if I'm being honest, I think the same thing. I bet if we wrap that sucker in some good quality thread tape and we cinch that baby down on, we probably would not have an issue. But once again, it's an inverted flare fitting. We're gonna use some of this just as a mock-up. Guys, spend the $12, get the right fittings. Don't start stripping threads, buggering it up, then it's leaking, then you're going, man, I wish I spent 12 bucks. For now, we're gonna thread those right on in there though, and that should pretty well get us exactly where we need. Then we'll install the proper ones tomorrow. Zoomy boy! Got our other line started here, and we're going for a mock-up because we're gonna have to build the other ends for these lines. Just trying to see if we need to clamp these over, or if it was hanging right there, it'd be fine. I think it'd be fine, honestly. And even though it'll be fine, probably, we'll just go ahead and whip something up. Here's my very huge metric bolt selection. Hey, clamps. One nut. Gave us a little slack. We don't want to clamp right up here for obvious reasons. So we want to drop down. And from center, we probably want to drop down about, 2.5 inches. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. A little better spacing up in here and tighten that one down. We're good to go. Now, I couldn't remember on our transmission if the top port or the bottom port, which one's to, which one's from. And then you get online and you just find a bunch of arguing people about what's what. Yeah, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. You're dumb for using the radiator cooler. You're dumb for not using external, blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted a clear answer. I finally seen someone who said they had a Turbo 400, and on theirs they just replaced lines, and they went from the top fitting to the top of the radiator and the bottom of the fitting. That's how their truck was. And that's what I was leaning towards anyway, so that's what we're gonna go with. So for our lines, way before I shoved them up here, I marked our one that's from the top fitting with some blue tape. So we need to get it ran up here. And that means the other one's gotta go down here. And you'll see I kind of for now just loosely put us a clamp on here, which will be what we'll end up using to kind of hold those together down through there. I think we may put some 90s on this, which some folks may advise against, but our radiator hose needs to go from down here over to here. So if we swing this up like that, we're gonna be getting in the way of it. So I'm gonna wrap that sucker with some tape, mark it where we want to cut, put a little tape on our top one, kind of do a little figuring out. Yep, these are the PFTE, I can't quite remember what they're called. Sorry, sometimes I get excited. So these ones, we gotta cut it. Of course, we want to blow the debris out of there. Get on out here. Then you gotta kind of take a pick and do a little peel back on our stainless steel lining and coating and whatever else you want to call that. Oh, I done messed up. Gosh darn it, got ahead of myself. Because really, I should have put this on there beforehand. That's right. That's all right. She'll do the slip fit. Yeah, and you want to put that on there. And I just whoop it like it owes me money. Like Michael Jackson said, just beat it. And you want to get her to bottom out that plastic tubing in there. Give that a little looby-dooby. Push it into that plastic. Slide that up over there. And tighten her down. Alright, she's tight right there. Let's try and get those lined up, but it ain't got it in her. Yeah, can't pull it apart. So she should be good. That's how you pressure test it. If she don't yank apart, she'll hold pressure. Yeah. Let's go back together, and this time she's gonna be tight. Well, good news is all that's kind of where I want it. We got plenty of clearance from our exhaust. I think it's gonna be good. The bad news is Bill showed up and was looking at what I'm doing. I go, man, that's pretty exhausting. And he got looking over here and he goes, where's your front drive shaft gonna go? I built exhaust last week. Slick's been over here giving me hands. It ain't crossed neither one of our minds about worrying about a drive shaft, guys. I just got going. Never once, never once did it cross my mind about the drive shaft being in there. I started that exhaust last Friday. Today's Wednesday. Good thing Bill showed up. Hey, you take your common sense and get out of here. Oh. Throw her back in and, hey, right there's our problem.
I don't know where you're gonna put that.
Well, I thought of that last time when doing the exhaust, and I thought this time, I was like, boy, that sure seemed to work out really easy this time. For some reason, last time it seemed like it was going to be hard. And I think last time I was remembering there was a drive shaft, and this time I wasn't. I didn't want to sneak up through there, which I know some of y'all thinking, why didn't you? Well, it's because all that fuel stuff's right there. Yeah. And I prefer not to heat up your brake and your fuel and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's probably adequate room. But the other problem is now that we've already built the rest of that down this side. So if we come up, plumb up out of here, man. Well, obviously the exhaust is gonna have to be addressed. This exhaust is gonna haunt me. It is what it is, guys. I do feel like as I continue to get older, I continue to get dumber. I'm missing simple things constantly. And it bugs me. But, I mean, what can we do besides fix it? Well, what we can do is get us a bite of the taco boy. So I ran up there and got me some food. Hey, did y'all see I recently installed security system in the Travelall? What are you doing, security? Oh, Rupert, bring me my fancy water. I did stop and get me one of my bougie waters, hoping it helps regenerate brain cells. Bill has smoked away all of his brain cells and he still caught that. I'll tell you what though, it's hard to stay upset when you've got a Taco Boy burrito. Guys, this one, hey, burrito meat with a little queso in there. Holy cow. Get his mom's salsa, give you a dab of that. Kind of hard to be upset right now. My mouth's in heaven. Woo! Kill. Only thing left to do now is continue to be backtracking Bobby. Redo Ricky. Do it again Dudley. Second time Sammy. Repeat Randall. And the list goes on and on. Vroom, vroom. Guess we'll get to put these new pie cuts to use. Now, since I put myself in this situation and I have to redo it, We already learned the lesson that spending as least time as possible on your fit up makes it a total pain. So this go around, I'm gonna spend a little more time on my fit up, knowing we'll save time in the long run when it comes time to weld out. And obviously we end up with a better product. Now I ain't saying it's gonna be perfect, but I am making sure to cut a lot cleaner, straighter. Here's our downpipe. Whew, cut that piece off. And then I can kind of hold that and check that, and we're doing the same thing we've been doing, guys. I'm kind of playing with some stuff, okay? As you can see, I cut a little bit off of one of the bends, not just relying on pie cuts, and that's just for some experience. Hey, can we make a pie cut meet up into that? Can we make it work? If there's any time to learn, it's on the exhaust system that's gonna take a month and a half. And because our X pipe's up in there, I did use a piece of a slip fit, and that does give us a little play. We need a little extra help. Got one pie cut in there, and I trimmed down to 90. And my goal was to kind of end up in here-ish. Well, over here, I took off just one of our pie cuts where that would shoot down some. And now I'm trying to figure out how to connect the two. To be honest, I cut this piece, I added a pie cut, then I cut this and started building this way. And then I was like, oh, actually it may be easier to build off that way and make this corner and then connect over to here. So this was the first start, this was the second start, but after adding that one, or kind of holding it up in place a second ago, it looks like I may be able to take my first start and second start and just make it one exhaust piece. And that's what they call luck, my friends. Give us an index mark. Woo! Guys, maybe it's a secret blessing. I mean, one, we're learning, okay? Two, had to just grind a little with the belt sander on the one, and we just got that fitting up really good. That's what's kind of cool about those pie cuts. You can roll them. So the first time we tried to fit up over here, we were touching here and had a big old 1/4 inch gap on the back. But looking, I was like, man, if we could take this one loose and roll that thing, it would whew, and close that up. So that's what we did. We actually took her apart, tacked that one up, because these are end bends. Those aren't the greatest fit up, so I don't know if I'd recommend that like I did. But we still tacked it, fully weldable. And then over here, we went to hold her up there. It was touching on this side and had about an 1/8 inch gap. So that's what I belt sanded that just at the slightest angle. And now she ain't hardly got a gap at all. And she stays above where the bottom of the oil pan is. I think there's a possibility we may be able to fit a dust shield.
Few dents, it'll fit.
Yeah, give her a couple love taps. We'll get her wallered up in there.
I forgot about love tap.
But look at it this way, guys. You can't even see it. So we got it hugged up high, well above the cross member. Cross member's probably 1.5 to 2 inches below it. She's hugged up in there good. Now our lines and stuff we had already done, well, that exhaust runs exactly where that is. But it's about our only option. You know, we'd rather redo the lines instead of doing all the work we've been doing on this truck to then make it a 2-wheel drive because we can't fit a drive shaft. We're gonna keep her 2-wheel drive. We could have saved a whole lot of work a whole long time ago. For that to ever get up in there, this is gonna have to be way up there. And if Dad ever gets it to do that, he's gonna have other problems. Woo! A tiny amount of welding, guys. Took a good minute. It's not the best. It is dang sure better than what we cut out of there. I mean, when we look at these goofy angle cuts that didn't fit up and start boogering, which that was one of my better welds right there, actually, compared to some of this. And those look a little too fat. I probably need a little bit smaller filler with the tighter gap. And I'm having a hard time just being able to move around pipe and stuff. But overall, you can see improvement in all these welds right in here. And those pie cuts look a lot better than just a bunch of goofy angles. Dad's gonna have the nicest exhaust currently at the Puddins Fabrication Shop. Y'all probably noticed I did cut off the other side. I know. A secret blessing going on here, folks, because I never give myself the time to really learn some of these processes. Anyways, do I think that we can come up with something now that looks better than all of that? Yeah, I do. So let's do it. My mistake is causing us to do better, and you can't be mad at that. Of course, with that tightened down, that did pick up, the whole thing did. So we're rubbing just the edge of that right there, so we can tap that down just a little. That's one thing I ain't really figured out, is how to control how that moves without really welding it or clamping it. I don't think you could, but that don't scare me too much. Back here, went ahead and clamped this side up into place, and we're using pudding logic, and pudding logic says if that side fits, then this side would fit too. So we need a dent right there. It looks like as far as O2 goes, we could go right there. But let me see if I can't figure out this side. I've got our collector on. Now we just got to hit from here, clear this, hit there. It's about 3 3/4. Now remember, that saw was taking out big old chunks, so I ain't been using it. What I've been doing is just give us a bunch of marks here, 3 3/4. I've been taking blue tape and playing connect the dots. Did a little cleanup on there, but it really don't need it. It's doing a pretty good job of staying nice and flat. And we're gonna test that as our down pipe over there. I'm leaving off this one until we check it. I should have popped this on a straight piece over here before, because I'm kind of realizing I think we're gonna be all right running straight. And if so, we can almost just drop that down a little further. We may have to take off one of these and then just put a little bit of an angle on this. I'm not sure. Now, as much as I've kind of cleaning up my precision here, I still had to throw in a freestyle cut right there at the angle I think we need. Let's see if I got it or if I'm just old has-been. Get your blue tape out. I'm gonna pick it up a hair and measure that. And I'm seeing 5 3/8. But over here, 5 3/8, a little tight. Let's go 5 1/2. I think we add an 1/8, and that's gonna give us, we can belt seam. Whew, whew. Take a hair off, fit her real nice. Tape that up nice and flush. Let's see how we did. Hey, looky there, about an 1/8 inch gap on the back, hitting up front. So that means if we go on here, and this is our top side, right there, we take some off, coming this way. And then of course back off that side, just a little angle on this will close up that gap. Little gap just back there, that's fine. Weldable, weldable. It's gonna look so much nicer, you know, so, because definitely so many people's ever gonna see underneath old Roy. And once again, we're cheating with our little slip joint. This allows a little play down on the other end, but to salvage our mess and be ending up with what we got, I ain't mad about it. Celebrate that. Celebrate. Whoa. Theodore says hello, folks. Good morning. Guys, we're done welding. Thank goodness. We are DUN. Unless we decide to build the third version of exhaust for this pickup. You know, it just looks too nice. The block of death. I told told y'all we had to dent it for that trans pan. Whoa, Bessie. Calm down, killer. Hey, Ma, Puddin' built that fancy exhaust and now he's doing the heat and beat. Classic. I flattened her out pretty good. We'll clean her up once she cools off. She'll be okay. What do you think, Inspector? I'm glad you agree, because I really didn't want to do it for the third time. Before we go install, we need to take care of this though, and that's our trailer lights. Just playing. That's the vehicle speed sensor we had added, or the wiring for it. And here's the actual speed sensor. And I wired it in. The thing is, we don't have a way to know which way's correct and which way's not. If it ain't correct, we're gonna have to swap the wiring. With this style of connector on there, that'll be a pain to swap. So I'm gonna trade these out to spade connectors. That way when we go up to the dyno shop to let them really tune this sucker out, if we gotta swap that, it's a quick flip. Now the reason I'm doing this is because that exhaust is going to be right there with the mufflers and everything, so it'd be a little bit of a pain to, if I had it right then great, but if I have it wrong then taking care of it then is going to really not be fun. So with our spade connectors, we just got to make sure to do males on one side and females on the other so it can easily swap back and forth. Right there's a very handy little set of pliers. You can strip, you can crimp with it, and it's very petite. Makes it nice for getting up into spots. Highly recommend. Carlisle. These are the Carlisle Strip Masters, okay? I made up the Strip Master part. Little slickum on the little mini cable here. They're slicked up. We'll slide her right back in. And that's gotta go in there. Make sure she locks. Yeah, we need to give her a little snugging. Little snuggie. Give it the classic snug and tug. Oh yeah, you boys like a good snug and tug. Installing your speedometer, I don't know what y'all was thinking about, but it's crucial to tug on it to make sure it's tight. All right, pretty cool little setup here. Now we installed the little miniature speedo cable, maybe. Now naturally, I have weak hands, and I'm aware of that. But I also got grease on them right now, so to make sure she actually tightens up, we're gonna channel lock it. We ain't getting too wild, right there snug. Quality stainless steel mufflers. Anyhow, now our speedo cable, which is not worn out in the slightest, it's gonna hook to that. We got Theo doing vehicle inspection and Sam mowing for us. We've known Sam for a long time, and Sam takes really good care of us. So I do apologize if you hear a little mowing in the background. I don't want our cable falling down since our exhaust runs through right here. Honestly, I think that right there will do just fine. And as far as our wiring goes, well, obviously we can shorten that up just a hair. She don't need the Extendo kit 3-footer extra pigtail on her. Yep. So now, like I said, we're just kind of guessing on which goes to which. Slap them together. Now they can easily be swapped. However, we don't want that just doing the flip-flop. Let's see if old P-Tang's got hit up these sleeves. Woo, what trick will he pull out next, folks? Well, one, you better believe your butt it involves a zip tie. However, we don't want to be drilling a hole in our floor. That would make no sense. So get your euchers. These right here will be perfect for this earth magnet that you can zip tie to. I wouldn't trust it for anything heavy like our speedo cable. That kind of gets the bouncing and pulling, and then it'd probably pop those off. But you got a little bundle of wires, these things are perfect. Yeah, big old snaggle tooth there.
Next pudding shows you how to slice your own finger. And check that out. Now we can put that thing way up there if we want, keep that slack from hanging. And once again, if we need to swap those, hey, just reach up there and grab that magnet, pull it off, swap them, put it back. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the gaskets in on the manifolds themselves, so we probably want to get those installed before we put the actual exhaust on, and then we got to fight it. Oh, crawling up in this engine bay, my favorite. Oh, I'm gonna get stuck. Oh, good, good. Forgot I installed our oil dipstick, so now that's in the way as well. Oh, okay, she's finger tight at least. Thought I was gonna have to get some more tools. And had we properly done those gaskets when it was uninstalled, we would also removed the broken off bolt in the rear. I was trying to start one back there, and I couldn't get one started. And yeah, I know these LS motors are bad about those factory ones breaking off in there. You got to remove them. But did I do that when it was out? Nope. Do all this work so we can have a little exhaust leak from the exhaust manifold at the rear? Quite possibly. Get your butt down on in there. There she went. Had to do a booty reposition so I can start using my right hand instead to get stuff started. And this is going a little better. I know what you're thinking. Why don't you get that dipstick out of your way? Y'all don't remember last week how long it took me to get that stinking dipstick started? Golly, that thing whipped me. It whipped me good. Yep. All right, this side's good. Good thing we got that big old 15 mil holding that dipstick. We don't want it to fall out. Now, speaking of dipstick, I got a transmission one. Should probably go ahead and get her installed. I modified it back in the day to work with this. Just don't quite remember where it's supposed to actually bolt. I see a hole back there. Oh yeah. Oh. I'm smelling that because I put some of my looby dooby on it so she slides in her grommet easier. Now, if I remember correctly, it actually bolts up to the coil pack here, which is why this little 10 mil is loose. Shocker, I can't hit the hole. That thing, whoo, slicks back, making it hard to find the hole, but we're started right there. Oh yeah, just felt her go. Felt it drop. Success. Boop. I ain't mad at those. They look all right over there. In fact, all this is tidying up quite nice. Repeat over here. A little back out. Slide our gasket in. Accidentally knock your light down where you can't see. And hope for the best. That's all we can do around here. Oh. Have to do my Bill concentrated breathing exercises. Just feels good to finally install this for hopefully the last time. If you've learned anything from my exhaust work, let it be. You need at least a 2-foot extension. Makes everything nice and easy. Plugged in our O2. Just gonna zip tie them up on these little ears off our transmission. I decided I couldn't even hardly get my hand in there, much less show y'all. So we did all that stuff before the exhaust went up. I know, yeah. Can we just take a moment and appreciate this since we got her installed? That's pretty nice looking. I know.
you're thinking, Puddin', what the heck are you doing? What's going on in the video? Hear me out. For one, I've been sick the past 2 days. And this video's all done, by the way. So I've just been cooped up in the house sick. It's been terrible. I needed some fresh air and I couldn't find a better place to lay other than right here, okay? It really got me thinking, you know, after the last 2 videos where I struggled with the exhaust, it really got me thinking that, you know, with all that cheap stuff, and then I was happy with that, but I know I don't really possess skills for that. Clearly that was all pretty stinking new to me to try to fit something up like that. And being sick, I've actually been watching some YouTube, which usually I don't have much time for. Well, someone I've watched for a long time, because he's a YouTube fabricating OG. He's done a lot of stuff by hand, and he's always done a lot of work that I respect. He really seems to know what he's talking about, but his results, the work, kind of speak for themselves. And if you guessed it, I'm actually talking about Justin from the Fabrication series. Go back a decade ago from now, and I was in the Air Force, and when I could, I'd sneak in some of his videos at work and watch them and everything. So he's been doing stuff for a long time. And it just got me thinking as I'm watching this video, and I've been watching some of his videos, is, you know, he has the skill set. He knows the tips and tricks to probably weld the cheapo crap together and make it look nice. Probably nicer than PFS can. I bet TFS could probably do a little bit better job and show you guys a better job, but he's always kind of promoted for the higher end stuff of don't use cheap materials. So I'm gonna challenge him right now. I'm gonna challenge him to go out of his comfort zone and purposely use the cheap materials, because I have no doubt that he knows more than we know to make it look good, fit good, and function good, all the goods. So Justin, PFS is challenging TFS. Use the cheap stuff like we used and build a nice exhaust. Get out of your comfort zone for the people. Y'all be sure to comment on his YouTube channel or Instagram or anything like that. Let him know we're challenging him. And I'm also going to take this opportunity to shamelessly plug in the next 2 second channel videos coming up on PFS 2. We will be working on the Mercedes. She's got a rebuilt trans. She's got the real high-end exhaust. And a custom floor, well, kinda. If you don't follow PFS 2, you should, because you're just missing more Puddins Fab Shop content. There, Thursdays at noon. Now, I hope y'all enjoy the rest of this video. Now, your O2s have these little push clips, but we ain't got nowhere to push to. And we don't want them flopping and knocking and landing on that exhaust, getting hot, melting. So, zip ties, guys. Can't beat them. Snap. Well, with the exhaust successfully on, I worked up an appetite, and luckily for me, it's customer appreciation day up at the parts house, and manager just texted me and told me come eat. So me and Poppy's gonna load up in the Travelog and go get us our little snacky snack. Little free, probably really cheap hot dog if I was a betting man. Looks like old Slick beat us up here in the Love Tap. Thursday we went by the O'Reilly's, and that evening we had volleyball, and I just wanted to spend some good quality time with Poppy. So after we got us a burger at the O'Reilly's, we went a couple places. I kind of showed them around, showed them a few things, gave them part of the Pot County experience. Of course, we had volleyball. We had to be there too early, being senior night. Anyhow, Friday, yesterday morning, my wife had five teeth pulled. And apparently, her teeth are really strong as far as where they meet into the jaw. Please allow me to demonstrate. Pretend this is my wife's head. I did not mean to throw that. Pretend this is her. The point of this was what that dentist looked like, which was he basically had to do everything besides stand on her head and get a hold of that tooth with his channel locks and wiggle and fight. So she had a rough day, and I was there with her. So here we are. Well, I got a little dehydrated yesterday too. Wasn't feeling the greatest. Here we are, Saturday morning. We've got to get more done. Now, I knew our bracket wouldn't work for us to face these straight down, but the good news is it looks like we can just add a little jog to this bracket
and just make it work right there instead. Slight jog, flip it, slight jog, we'll offset. There we go. Color line's happy, new exhaust happy, and hey, we got room for a drive shaft. Up top, we are gonna hook those up, but for some reason, this fan just got on my nerves, so we're gonna try to get it out of here. I am gonna C-clamp our pulley on the water pump here. And just allow that to rotate into our tensioner. Then you want to get something you can put on that nut. I like to use a very small speed wrench, about like this one, smallest one I got. Oh, well, thought I was gonna have to give her a little love tap, but apparently the leverage and weight of that got it. That's about the easiest I've ever seen one of these come off. And it has a self-removal feature, so once it's our self-disposal, so once you get it popped off there, it just leaves. Look at all that room we have for activities now. I'm a huge fan of taking those off like that. Huge fan. That was terrible. Good news though, we had time for our fittings to come in. Now I've made up my mind that for now, we're still gonna hook these up. I need to talk to Dad, see how often he plans on towing a trailer with this thing at all. He does haul some hay from time to time, goes and gets loads of hay for his donkeys. So if he suspects he'll be using this for that, then we'll probably entertain adding a cooler. But for now, these will get us going. Replacing those lines, they're really easy to run, really easy to make, and I got plenty of that material, so that don't bother me. I guess more or less the concern would be making sure we can fit the condenser in there. So we get some AC up in this piece, okay? Get this thing cooling like a Eskimo booty, and we may put a bigger cooler on it. But for now, this will get us running, driving, maybe some shakedown miles for us. Hey Ma, Puddin's dropping his nuts. After all my years of using AN style stuff, I finally, you can get the little speed wrenches for them on the Amazon really cheap. I finally got some. They do a really good job of not boogering them up. Who would have thunk it? You get the proper tool for the job and it does a good job. How weird. All right, now those are clamped. Yeah, we got about, a good knuckles worth of clearance between there, but they can't really bounce around, so I don't think that'll be an issue. Got them tightened up. Well, since we're looking down, let's see if we can make a radiator hose work, huh? Ow! Oh! Clamp spring force times pi. Add the radius of that. And that equals to a shit ton of pressure. Just smack that fingertip. Ow! Yep, I did not need that ring finger anyhow. I wish it just finished going numb. Come on, let's go numb on me. Golly. Sorry. Boy, if I start freaking out there, I got into pain and had to start doing some math to calm me down. I don't know what just happened. Oh, 2 more to go. Lucky me. I wouldn't need that middle finger or the pinky neither. Let's just take them off. Pain equations. Let's not touch it this time. How's that? You get one of those suckers pulled. Just let it drop. For about $5 or $6 off the Amazon. Once again, we got 3/4 on one side, 5/8 on the other. That'll at least get us capped off for now. Again, until we add our vintage air in the future. Little spit. Slicker it. Dang. May have to get bigger hose clamps. That's a big old thick barb on there. I don't want to use bigger than this if I don't have to, because you get a bunch of extra pigtail hanging off a worm clamp and they just look sloppy. And I can't afford to lose another finger, so we're not going to use the other ones. I hurt myself today to see if I still feel everything in that fingertip. Sure did feel damn real. That's simple enough for now. Now I'll tell you, I'm sure we could have done a little research and probably figured out what would work as far as with the LS to the C10 radiator. I went to the parts house last night and got a big old box of stuff. And we're just gonna try the ones for like the Silverado, what that LS would have came out of. Howdy there, parts. So we know this will fit our engine because this is what it's for. Oh yeah, perfect size. We'll make sure it fit our radiator. And y'all can see how that's gonna be pretty stinking close to what we need. Looks like we could almost stretch that a hair. Got a little looby-dooby in our hose. That pushes on. Now we can spin it. It's down in there. Little mark, like that Wahlberg guy. A little mark. Oh, wait a minute. He's so buff. Yeah, he's buff. He's 5'2". He ain't got nowhere else for that muscle to go. I'm sorry if you're a 5'2" buff guy and I just offended you. That wasn't an attack on shorter individuals. Oh, just making fun of the funky bunch. I think my wife may be one of the ones who has a crush on him. Maybe that's where that came from. I'm like, that guy? Come on. Well, the good news is if y'all went on a date and he got tired of walking, you could pick him up and hold him like a baby. Come on, little Marky. All right. All right. That worked out pretty good. Now, it's a good thing we have that kind of chafe wrap on here, that plastic, because that does rub that fender well, guys. But it does clear the frame rail. And that don't fall in there perfectly natural, but it's definitely good enough for what we're doing here, folks. And once again, we've got factory replacement parts. You need a radiator hose, just go to the parts house, get you one exactly for that engine. You'll see where I put these? Right in the scrap metal, where the good Lord intended them to be. Seeing our fan wiring down there, so we'll hook it up real quick. Look how lucky this is. This was how much I cut last time. And boy, it's gonna go just right where we need it to be for those grounds. Now I'll just tell y'all, this harness feeding the fans is gonna get added to and or redone again with the vintage air. And that's because we'll have to add additional relay that allows the trinary switch to work with the fans as far as keeping the fans on separate outputs from the computer. There's a way to do it. I did on the Travelall. I'll show y'all in the future. Yep. This one was just barely long enough. Actually, just about right. A little bit of our wrap on that wiring. A few of our little magnetic zip tie holders. She good. I forgot to put our torque converter bolts in. Really, I'm just always looking for an excuse to undo our trans cooler lines and our starter again. Yep. She's all back together for the 7th time. More of these demon clamps. Little piece of coolant hose right here. Golly, I'm sure she's fine. If you're wondering what we're doing, we're about to pull this evap solenoid valve thingy-mabobber, and they do make a little block-off plate. I do not have one. However, I don't want all this crap on here. So now we need to plug that. Boy, if you had time, I guarantee you could JB weld that sucker. What the heck, over. I was hoping for a plug. That's 1/8 inch. And that's what a buddy of mine had recommended. He knows more about the LS's than I do. There we go. I think he meant 1/4 inch NPT. Luckily I have one of those too. I'm gonna stuff her with some rags and grease up her tap. My 12 point will fit that. Obviously that grease is to help catch your shavings. And people swear by it, but I see plenty of shavings still in there, which is why up here I'm willing to do this. People are like, it don't let any shavings go in the motor. Oh, it don't? Uh-huh. Sure does. Now, will the LS motor eat it because it's hungry and don't give a damn? Probably. But are you lying when you say they don't drop any in there? Yeah, you lying. The little bit of shavings that did drop, we got on the rag though. And now we can plug that. Of course, I'll get a proper plug. And ain't nothing wrong with that, guys. Them little block-off plates are cheap enough, probably 20, 30 bucks. But if you've got a tap, why not? Huh. That one right there almost looks like you could break that off and hook some vacuum to it. We're gonna end up just plugging this back here. There's a plug. Push down on that piece of red and wiggle on that plug. That'll come out of there. That's for if you have the hydro boost. There is a factory fitting you can pop right back in there. We don't have it. We are gonna try to tap this as well. I'm guessing that seals on the O-ring, so you don't wanna grab the slick part. Seems like there should be plenty of material there. I think we're gonna tee it back there, one going to the booster. And we need to step down to around 1/4 inch or so to go to our vacuum down on the transmission. Now obviously we could feed that off up here where we just tapped, but just everything back there is gonna keep it a lot nicer looking. Kind of hide it at the back. You know, we don't want things to start looking sloppy or nasty around here. Whoop. Good news, folks. We had success. Just had to go a little further than I planned to. Nipple, plug, barb. Just gotta put her all together here. That brass to plastic should seal pretty easy. So now, boom, that pops right back in the factory port, holds itself in, and we got what we need. Well, except she ain't clicked in yet. What's the deal here? There it went. Just had to give her a little wiggle. Trim 1, she's on. Trim 2, she's on. That'll work. We're plugged. Fresh new unit. Get her while she's hot. Whoa, Bessie. Should pop right on. Plug action. Hold on. You gotta be kidding me. This don't come with the wire to hook up to actually charge it. Curveball. You gotta be kidding me. I never even paid attention. This cheapo harness. You think they would at least include that, for crying out loud. Oh my goodness. Hey, Chihuahua. Say it ain't so. Well, running wires is never a fast process unless you want it to look like crap. Fortunately for us, it looks like we'll probably just be able to wrap it in some loom. We'll run it down above the water pump and probably just right up over there straight towards the battery. I did leave that free just in case we ended up needing it for something, so who knows. Well, let's see how our upper's gonna fit. Fit perfect is how it's gonna fit. Golly. Just with that side wiggled on. And with this big block radiator, look how well that lines up, guys. So in a lot of these, you'll see people and they end up with them, these are too long. And then that's where having that thing that can cut and split it can sometimes help you out. You may have to narrow it in the middle. Not required for this unit though. We could clamp her somehow right there and that would look very nice. The thing is though, if you're gonna pop the hood and show this one off, unless you give someone a step stool, they ain't hardly gonna, well, that ain't true, you can see. Okay. It's kind of a shame we're gonna have to split that with that thing. Like I said, not the most attractive. However, if we aim it straight down where it can whoop over, I don't think it'll look too bad. I really don't want to cut that hose. I thought I'd be okay with it. I don't think I'm gonna be. This plug come out of where the factory heater hose went on the radiator. We're gonna try some of our tapping magic here too. And I don't know this will work as far as we can even run that line there, but I don't see why we couldn't. So this thread's in there, but it actually seals with an O-ring. So we need to get all the way through. And we gotta go a little bit bigger. And I didn't go big enough. That's not good. Probably just messed up. Probably just messed up. I don't think that fitting's gonna thread into there good. We'll try. I think I wallered it too much with that tap. Yeah, and I don't know how much we wanna rely on plastic threads for our coolant. I guess for vacuum it's one thing, but for this, probably not the brightest idea. And that being said, that sure snugs up good. So we may leave this and run it. We're going to for now to get it going, but when we add the air, we may add in one of them little adapters like I was talking about earlier, like I did on the Travelall. It was working really good actually. And I got it there and I was like, oh, she looks pretty good. Go to snug her just a hair more. Twisted them threads, dang it. Snapped her clean off. Against my better judgment, here we go. Try to remember how our belt goes on here. Not like that. Gosh darn it. Don't worry, I remembered. All right, I'm gonna throw that belt on before we finish hooking this up, because of that, I figured it'd kind of drop down and we don't want that rubbing. And if I'm being honest, that don't even look that bad. I don't know why it bugs me. I mean, that sucker just holds into place even. We don't even hardly have to do anything with that. It's basically gonna sit on top of that fan. That's gonna keep it from sagging. Pulled our plug, thread in that aluminum adapter, and then our proper bushing, and then our gauge, or our cinder, I mean. This is for our temperature. And then once again, we'll just kind of hide this along the back here. Now our copper line, I had already hooked up before, so I just ran it through the firewall as well. Now those are ugly, so a little bit of that cloth split loom to wrap that in, a little bit of my cork tape through the firewall. That looks much nicer. What y'all say we open up a fresh batch of the red stuff? That old transmission service stuff. Other than a couple quarts we put in the torque converter, she's dry, so she's gonna be thirsty. We got 2 gallons in her, aka 8 quarts. We're gonna aim for about 10. Actually, she's having a hard time right there. Sounds like it's puking out underneath there, so we'll call that good enough for now. Oh yeah, she's puking. Where were we puking from? Uh-oh. Oh yeah, she's coming out the vent up there. Well, shoot, let's throw that battery on and fire it up. Maybe let that pump some. That's what I've been working up towards anyhow. Come on, baby. She's pretty quiet. First time getting to hear our exhaust. Can't say I love how it sounds. I got that turbo muffler sound going on. Now, we gotta be careful because we ain't got a way to stop this. But that right there should be reverse. So when I hear her humming, neutral, let it come to a stop. Drive, back up to neutral, let it come to a stop. Oh, that's what I was worried about. I thought I could shift her quick up to the park. Sounds like she kicked her in the reverse for that happened. That did stop us from puking a lot though. Dang! Hey! Hey! I guess I just realized we've got an idler here, folks. Got good 40 PSI. That thing seems to be shifting all over the place, and I can't kill it because the column won't let me turn the switch unless we put it in park, and I can't put it in park. Now, y'all tell me, how's that sucker running without a fuel pump, huh? What the heck? Dummy, just take that off there. I forgot we ain't got alternator charging. I don't understand how that just happened. Either way, she fired up. Sounds to be running pretty stinking smooth. Like I said, the exhaust, I don't know. I like quiet exhaust and without doing cats and resonators and big old mufflers. It's hard to get these things dead quiet. But then I don't think just like a little turbo muffler necessarily sounds good, even though you want it quiet. So I don't want it to be super loud. Now, before we run that too much more, I bet we're pretty stinking good on trans fluid. We can check yet. We're not going to hurt nothing on it, though, especially just being here idling. We want to get some coolant in the sucker, though. Gallon of the green stuff. Can't even quite get a gallon of water in there, and we're already sitting there. So I'm going to pressurize our system and shoot some of this into the engine. Don't seem to be working. I know it worked on like a 2018 Volkswagen I worked on the other day. We couldn't get air out of the system. Did that, it worked. For these LS motors, sometimes I will backfill like this right here. Good thing about doing it this way is you never make a mess. Makes sense if you just don't think about it. Got 3.5 gallon in her, so I bet she's pretty stinking close. Woo, she's quiet. We like that. I'm gonna let her warm on up, guys. Rack the pipes. All right. I think she sounds pretty good, really. It sounds a lot better when you're giving it some than what it does just sitting there at idle. But again, I like it quiet. And that bit here at the back shouldn't be too loud in there, especially we get a little insulation and carpet and stuff down. And listen to it right here, guys. Whew! I mean, quiet as could be. I ain't mad at her. Really, overall, she's turning out to be a pretty clean little LS swap here. Now we're burning off a lot of stuff. That exhaust was covered in oil and crap like that, so you're always gonna have a nice little smoky break-in period of some exhaust. Still holding a good 40 psi on the oil, and temp looks like we're climbed up to about $1.60. What a great pickup this thing should make, guys. Now, last week and this week, obviously, guys, it whooped on me. Mainly the exhaust. That'll happen. I think y'all noticed on that exhaust, I was a little more picky than what a lot of people would be. A lot of people just take it to exhaust shop and have them throw something on there. You'll be all right with it. Not mad with how it's worked out. But I will say, I'm glad we've got it running right now. I want it to warm up. But I'm still not feeling the greatest. Kind of lightheaded. Almost, I don't know, feel woozy. Now obviously all of our vacuum plugs and all that vacuum stuff's working really good. The stuff we did. If it wasn't, one, we'd probably be hearing a slight whistle from something. But two, it also affects how it runs, obviously. Looks like we may have dropped down a hair, but not much. Oop, see, here comes a little bubble or two. Looks like we're starting to get a little flow. Another bubble. Oh yeah, oh yeah. She's opened up, folks. If you've done something on your LS motor, I recommend you backfill it from that upper hose the way I did. If not, if you just try to fill a radiator, and it'll really fight you. So she probably opened up right at $1.80 by the looks of things. I think the fans should be programmed to kick on at some point. So I'd like her to get all the way up there where hopefully she'll kick on for us. I can see our water's turning green now as it all starts to mix together. Oh man. I knew I had one somewhere. Yeah, she went from puking to can't even see her on the dipstick now. Our map is doing a really good job over here. Good luck, I guess, because with her topped off, she's just sitting at $1.80 with no fan needed. Got that big block radiator doing work. We're close. Let's force it to climb. Yeah! Woo! Creeping up on on 210. Now, I have no clue where he has the computer set to kick the fans on. I told him I'd like him to. I was guessing about 210 is when they would kick on. And we're actually up past that, creeping up on 220. Even that don't really scare me for a LS, guys. These things are durable, resilient. They like the heat. Now that don't mean we're just gonna plumb keep it there. They ain't kicked on. And we're hitting 220 there. So let's go ahead and kill her. Because there is a possibility it's not flashed into the computer to be kicking those on. So, for now, guys, we're just gonna have to take it as a victory. This week has, you know, presented a couple challenges. We had, man, the week didn't go how I wanted. I didn't plan on being out here on Saturday till 1:30, whatever it is, to get to this point. But we gotta do what we gotta do. This last week, Monday, God put something on my heart that I just needed to do. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I dropped everything I was doing and handled that. And man, anyhow, then the rest of the week with having a family in town and the volleyball, like always, it was just challenging. And then, you know, putting my own head up my hind end and building that exhaust like that. And guess what? No regrets, guys. This truck is turning out beautiful. What an amazing truck this is going to be for Dad, just as a great driver. It's got such a great look. And I hope some of y'all who are maybe leaning towards doing an LS swap can see how doing some of this stuff underneath the hood and just trying to do it in a clean way just makes it look like such a nice driver. So simple. No need to do goofy valve covers and big obnoxious sheet metal motor covers and this and that, guys. If you just do stuff with you looking like you care a little bit about it, I think it starts to show. So that's it, guys. My girls had just ran up to the store. Mama texted me, said they were going to run up to the store. I would like to get in and eat something. I think it may help with me feeling a little woozy of a doozy. Haven't ate today, so I'm going to take care of that. I appreciate y'all being here so much. The Old Roy merch released last week for the videos y'all seen, but in real time for me, it's actually going to release tomorrow because we're ahead on the recording. So maybe there's still some in stock. If there's not, I cannot thank y'all enough. That, you know, y'all supporting that away makes it where we can do this and keep building these things and everything. And I know my dad is super excited about it. I know he's been showing a few people pictures and everything, so let's get Dad in this thing. So thank y'all once again, puddins.fab.shop.com for that good quality merchandise. We're on the Patreon, on the Instagrammer, on the Facebooker. You can follow us on all those. And much other than that, guys, I hope you liked what you seen. And it's about time we got to listen to that thing, huh? Yeah, we were due for a win. I'll see y'all in the next one. However, do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your project.
Check her out. I got you a stepladder where you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, getting old.
Ah, dang.
Looks pretty good, don't it?
Yeah, it does. Looks damn good.
Looks like it's supposed to be down in there.
That goes over here, right?
Yeah, we gotta do the intake still.
No, that looks damn good.
Popped our cap on, guys. That just came in, so that'll be protected. Don't get your beard in there. 120,000.
No.
She's smooth. Nice and quiet, ain't it?
Yeah.
Is she too quiet?
Yeah, no,
Just about right?
yeah, I love it.
Too loud?
No.
Just right?
Not at all.
This is how she'll go, Pops. Check her out. I think you got the nicest exhaust I've ever built. You like the shiny exhaust?
What's the pinion angle gonna be on this?
Good? Whatever good means.
Whatever good means.
Muffler.
Oh, I was saying Sean Lufa.
The what?
Sean Lufa from Barbie or something.
Girl.
Sean Lufa. The thing.
Sound?
The thing like that.
Don't touch it, baby. It's hot.
That thing. If it's like.
Them wires.
What do you think of these Sean Poofas? Yeah, the
Something from Barbie.
wires ain't ran yet. Sean Poofas look pretty good up there.
Is that the engine?
Yep.